Hello YouTube viewers, this is Legit CP here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make your button actually do something. Right here. This button that we created in the past tutorial, we're going to actually make it do something. So if you don't know how to add a button, watch the previous tutorial on how to do it. Alright, so in the XML we created the button and we called it, or I called it button 1. So to make it do something, we're going to make it start a new activity. So we're going to create a new activity class. So right click on your package that you created when you're creating the project, go to new activity class. If you don't have it here, go to other, go to Android and activity class, go to next, call it whatever you want. So I'm just going to call this class 2 and leave the package at default what it's at, and hit enter or click finish. Now we have to do something or a few things to the manifest so we can connect or open it so we can reference it. So go to important files and open up the Android manifest file. You're gonna see activity, or only one activity. If you see more than one, or two, since you've created another activity class, you're lucky, because that usually doesn't do that with me. But anyways, to make an activity manifest for class 2, we're just gonna copy the first activity all the way down to the closing activity. I'm gonna paste it here, and it's going to be called, what the Android name is going to be called what you named the class. So I called it class 2. And we're going to put the category to defaults. And we're going to change the Android name so we can reference it. I usually put this to what the packages that it's stored in. So mine's called CP3 tutorials. Oops, I think I spelled that wrong. Tutorials. And then at the ends, I put the name of the class. So class 2. Alright, and that's fine there. Go back to the main activity. If you don't have it open, double click main activity. And we're going to make a variable for the button. So we're going to do button 1. And we have to import button, so we just hit Alt Enter, but make sure your cursor's on the line. Alt Enter, and then add import for Android widget button. Then create a new line. Make sure it's in the block of code right here, and do the variable that you just created, button 1 equals button. I'll explain what this does. And then find view by ID, and then r dot layouts dot didn't create the IDs. Oh, it's sorry, not layout. My bad. Sorry about that. IDs dot button 1. Alright, now what this does is it assigns the button in parentheses. Forces it to be a button. And the find view by ID is going to find the button that we created in the XML, which is right here. It's called button 1, and it's stored as an int. I don't know why they did it like that, but it's stored as an int. And R is where everything is stored, where that's like your reference. It's like R is just a short form for reference. And IDs is what we created right here. IDS. So if you didn't put IDS, you put like just ID, it'd be ID. And button is the name of the button. So now we're going to implement an on-click listener. So implements view dot oops, don't need a comma there. Implements view dot on click listener, and make sure you still have your cursor on this line, hit Alt Enter, and implement all abstract methods. Now, how I usually do this for buttons is I use a switch, like a switch case. But first, before we do that, we have to add the listener to the button. So we're going to do button1 dot sets on and click listener. And this should automatically, it should say this in the parentheses. Just hit enter again. If it doesn't say that, just type in this. What this is going to do, it's going to set an on-click listener in this class. So on this one right here, like on this on-click listener. And now after we got that done, it's going when the button is pressed, it's going to call this the on-click. So what I usually do is I do switch v, which is the view. It's the variables right there. Dot get ID, and just finish off the block of code by using the squiggly brackets or the braces, and then do case. And we're going to do r dot ads dot button. What this does is if the view that's clicked has the ID of button 1, it'll do something. So now we're going to create a method that's just associated for the button 1. So I'm going to call it private voids button 1 click. You can call this whatever you want. And now we're going to call it by putting it in the case. Make sure you put a colon at the end, and just make sure it's indented. And we're going to call it so button 1 click. And then we got to make sure we type in break after it so it breaks, because if it doesn't break, it's just going to stay in here. Right after that's done, we're going to start the new activity. So there's a few ways to do this. I'm just going to do it the easy way, which is just type in start activity. Then new intent. We got to import that, so hit Alt Enter. Make sure your cursor is on that line, and add import for Android content intents. And then in parentheses puts the name of it, so that's what we put in the our Android manifest. So this right here. So we're just gonna paste that there. We could have just wrote it in manually. Oops, battle activity wrong. Derp. And that should be done. So now we're just gonna run this and see if it works. Alright, so we're going to right click on your project and click run. And don't worry about the errors. The errors should be fixed once you click run. Alright, it's loading. Alright, so now we're going to click open new activity and see if it works. Yep, it worked. It opened up a new activity. So thanks for watching this tutorial on how to make a button do something and open or start a new activity. If you would like to see any more videos, please comment, like, and subscribe for the next video. Thanks for watching.